Well, good evening, modelers, and welcome back to Space Dock Modeling. So, I believe this is update number 4 of the USS Enterprise refit buildup. So, lots happened since the last time I did a video. Got a lot accomplished. Um, Before I show you the pride and joy of this video, I'm going to go ahead and just go over some of the electrical work that I've done. So, I can't do all the lights right now because this thing is not primed or painted yet. But what I was able to do so far was installing the interior lighting for the windows. So on the lower hull, very simple. I just used, I believe it's bright white LED tape around the circumference for each window, as well as two in here and this is the lower section of the hull, by the way. Two strips here which are going to shine directly up into the BC deck and light up this section here. And then later, after I get through priming and painting, I'll come in and add and install the nav lights and the thrusters on this one. And on the upper deck, I installed 3 strips of LED tape, 2 on each side, 1 in the front. This will illuminate the lower section here to get these windows lit up. And then I went ahead and installed the blue light that's going to go in the impulse deck crystal right here. What I did was when I light blocked this, I took some masking fluid and just shoved in that hole right there. So when I was done light blocking, I could just pull that masking out and it left that inside perfectly clear of any paint. So the LED fits right inside. What I did was to make the LED fit in there pretty much just perfectly was I took a piece of styrene plastic about like this, and I just cut a little hole in the middle of it, put the LED in it, and then just laid it inside like so to fit there. And then I took another strip and laid it across this section here for the lights for the impulse engines, which you can kind of see. Focus. You're not focusing. Thing doesn't want to focus sometimes. There we go. That's kind of what it looks like. And that worked out really well. So did that, and then I added in the lights for the impulse engines themselves. Now I did kind of a boo-boo. My original plan was to put flickering red LEDs for the impulse lights or impulse engines, and I kind of forgot they were not flickering when I installed them, and I thought I'm not going to tear this thing apart just to fix that. So they're not flickering, which does hurt my feelings any. I'm happy just the way it is. Oh, and I will have to actually spray some black paint on the outer rim of the saucer here and some other parts, because when I light blocked this whole thing, I scratched away the paint around the outer edges where it's going to be glued together. On the lower section, not a problem. I just took the paint away from the outer edge here. But when I did it here, and I put it together and lit it up, you can see light bleed coming through this section of the plastic. It's an easy fix. You can just use some black primer just on those areas, and that will block the light, and then you can do your lighter primer coat on your base color. One thing you really want to do, guys, is when you're gluing your models, or when you're light blocking your models, you do not want to have any paint on the leading edges where it's going to be glued together, because I've made that mistake in the past, and yeah, it just won't hold. You'll be sanding the seam away, and all of a sudden the whole thing will just split wide open. It's happened to me before, and it was not a very pleasant experience. So make sure you get some, you can use regular acetone. I use my wife's nail polish remover. It's not 100% acetone, it's diluted, but it's diluted enough to where it will not destroy the plastic, but will take off the paint. So I clean the edges up with that, and like I said, I'll just come back in and spray some black paint on the outside here, and that will take care of my light leak problem. And also for those of you that are just getting into this, getting into lighting models, if you've never done it before, look at that piece of plastic there. You have to light block the inside of the models. If you do not, you will have light leak all over the place. So the way I usually do it is really easy. I had to get some cheap paint from from Walmart. Cost me $1, and I give it 2 coats of black paint, let it cure and dry thoroughly, and then 2 coats of gloss white. And what happens is that it gives you a twofold system. It light blocks, so nothing will come through. This side, I'll give you a good example. That's a pretty bright light. See? Can't see a thing. But I'll show you my mistake. Well, not my mistake, but what I've got to fix. You see how that's kind of going through the leading edge? So I got to fix that. But it light blocks it, and it also gives you a reflective surface, so the light bounces around in there and really gets everything lit up. So you want to do a couple coats of black, a couple coats of white, gloss white preferably, because it really reflects well. And then you do that, and has a nice effect. So show you the rest of what I did here. So secondary hull is pretty much wired up. I've got two rows of strip tape on the inside of this one, and one in the middle on this one. And the reason why I do it that way is because if you look at them, it gives you a nice, you got two, oh, I'm sorry, one and then two. I also put 2 strips on the strong backs, and I did that for one main reason. The Arboretum, I noticed after I tested it inside the kit, it wasn't getting the kind of light that I was looking for. I was looking for a little brighter of a light coming through the top, and this just wasn't doing the trick. So what I did was I put tape on the strong back, and the objective to that, get this wiring out of the way. This wiring will all be condensed later on too, by the way. So when I put the strong backs on the kit itself, it's going to look like that. Now those lights will be shining directly down the top of the Arboretum, and this will be on 2 sides, so it gives me the right amount of light that I'm looking for. So those are done. I also took the planetary sensor, and I want to light this up as seen in the movie, or any of the movies. So I just basically cut with a pair of microfiles. You can see that. I cut out the openings on both sides and on the front as well, and then I drilled 3 holes right here where fiber optics are going to go through and light up the back section of this dome. And as far as the lights go in here, I'm going to take some 5mm LEDs and file them down to kind of a square instead of round, and then I kind of gullied out where they're going to fit into here, and that should actually do what I want it to do. Let's see what else. Oh, my favorite part of the video, Arboretum deck time. So I don't know if I said this in my last video what my plan for the Arboretum was, but I changed it. So original plan was pretty basic. I was going to build a little box out of styrene like this, put some sides in it, or sides on it, and then basically I was going to just lay it inside the kit like so, and that was going to be the Arboretum, which you would be able to see through. Well, you can't see through it that way, but anyway, the idea was I was going to stick it in here and just kind of give a little like shadow box effect with a couple of trees. Well, I abandoned that idea because I did not like it. It just was not giving me the effect I was looking for. I wanted to be able to look through the secondary hull and see all the way through to their side and see a full-on arboretum. Now, a lot of you are probably thinking, why don't you just go ahead and just purchase the aftermarket part arboretum for the kit? I could do that, but it boils down to money, and I just don't see the point in spending extras on the aftermarket parts at this time for this kit, because the kit is, it was molded from a mold back in 1986, so it's got a lot of issues. It's an old model or old mold, and it's just not warranting spending really any extra money on this kit. So I'm not going to be buying any aftermarket parts for it. I did think about it though. I'll be fair about that. So we X-nayed on that idea and replaced it with my arboretum. This is my 100% scratch built arboretum, down to the trees. Now, mind you, this is also the first time I've ever done this before. I have never made an arboretum from scratch. I've never made trees before. So this is the first time for me. I think it turned out pretty good. I'm proud of myself. And I hope you guys like this. Enough talk. Here it is. Oh, there we go. Now if I get to focus. Come on. Focus. Alright, it's being slightly stubborn. There we go. Okay, perfect. There you go. That is my arboretum. So very simple. I just took a piece of styrene plastic and I drew a pathway. I took 2 colors of brown to paint the walkways, and then a couple of colors of greens to paint the grassy areas. After that was all said and done, I took some canopy glue and I just put some dollops of it in certain areas where I think bushes would have been at. And then I added this stuff. My wife got this for me at the craft store the other day. This is what I used to make the trees with. This is just standard flocking. You can get this either at the craft store, or you can actually buy this at a model train store too. They sell it as well. They sell a lot of stuff for doing scenery, for plants and trees and stuff like that. And then I also had this color, which kind of reminds me of a flower garden, to be honest. So what I did was, after I put the canopy glue on the where I wanted it, I just sprinkled in one of each, let it dry, and blew out the excess off of it, and then let that dry. As for the trees, very simple. I just took some wire, and actually I will get the wire out and I'll show you what I used. Actually I had this out before, I apologize for that. So it's very simple. I just took, I'll cut that piece off and show you. Do not. So this wire I'm using is, it's not saying what the gauge is. I think it's 20 gauge. Standard wire kit, electronic express. Yeah, it's not saying the wire gauge, but I think it's 20 gauge wire. Anyway, so I just took a piece of wire like this. I cut the insulation off of it, and I just I wrapped it. I twirled it around and spiraled it, and then made it nice and straight. And then at the tip of it, I just took the very tip and just unraveled the wires until it formed a little like cap, and then put this in some canopy glue or some white glue, have a little bit of this flocking in a cup, and then just dip it in the cup and let it dry. And what happens is you get a really nice tree. And then take some brown paint and paint the rest of it to mimic the trunk, let it dry. I did all that, and I made 4 trees, as you can see. And then once that was done, I figured out where I wanted the trees, drilled holes so the wire would just fit snugly inside. Drop the trees in to where they would drop just almost below the sidewall, And then underneath of it, I just took some super glue and some accelerator. Because once they were in place, I just shot with the accelerator and boom, I was done. Now, and the sides I just are styrene plastic that I painted with Tamiya's, what do I use? Tamiya's steel, like gunmetal steel. Uh, you might be asking what those little domes are. I was trying to experiment, which I don't think is going to work, but I wanted to give the effect of lights in the ground. So like if you walk through a garden and you see lights in the ground shining up to accent the greenery, I wanted to try it with some fiber optics, and I drilled the holes. Uh, I put the I ballooned the fiber optics where they had a little cap on them, and I got them in there. I put some canopy glue to lock them in place. I don't think this is going to work the way I want it to, which is fine. I'm not too concerned about it. If it works, great. If it doesn't, no big deal. But we'll see. And see if I can get you a side profile shot of this. If I can get it to focus in for you. It's a brand new camera. You'd think it would want to focus better. I mean, it's not super expensive, but it wasn't cheap either. Come on. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Just trying to show you guys this. It turned out pretty cool. Okay, there you go. There you can see it. So you see the multicolored flocking, which is my flower garden, and then the rest of it is just little like shrubbery inside. So very happy with that. I think it came out really well. And of course, everyone knows when you're looking at the Enterprise, you're looking at the Arboretum from the outside. You see this really nice blue glow coming from the top, which is supposed to be the sky. So very simple. I just took my handy dandy 69-cent for sale sign that I get at Walmart or the dollar stores, cut a section out on the white here, and then I took some craft paints, took some two different types of blues to give me my sky blue, and I just painted it with an airbrush. I did the airbrush because I wanted a nice even coat, and what's going to happen is this is going to fit on the top of the arboretum just like this, and I put these four little sides up to help keep it in place. It's going to fit just like that, and the light's going to come down on top of this, and it's going to give a really nice glow. And I've already tested this, by the way, a full-on bench test, and it came out perfect. It gave me just the right amount of light that I was looking for. So I haven't glued it on yet because I wanted to show you guys the arboretum before I put this thing together. So, oh, pardon me, I'm sorry, I said dinner. All in all, I'm happy with how the arboretum came out. I'm happy with how the lighting is coming out. I'm not happy with not being able to do some of the stuff I wanted to do, such as like the thrusters on the sides of the saucer section. I was really hoping that would come out, but the defect will not allow me to do that. As I said in my last video, I'm very disappointed with this model because, again, this was not it was a reboxing. It was not a retooling. You know, a fellow modeler and YouTuber is also a friend of mine, and we talk on the phone quite frequently. And we were talking about this just the other night, saying, you know, how round two had every opportunity to retool this mold and fix the mistakes that were in it and reissue it, you know, take out the brick pattern, fix the defects, and give it the quality and detail of, say, the 1/350 scale. You know, it would have made a lot of money. Now, granted, it would have been costly to retool the mold. You know, I worked in mold factories before myself. I spent 8 years working in an injection mold factory, so I understand molds. We manufactured interior car parts, so I understand what goes into retooling molds. I mean, I watched the guys do it a million times. to retool a mold of that magnitude with, that much retooling would be expensive. I understand that, but to be in all honesty, Round Two would have made their money back and more just on the sales of this kit, because if it was repopped in a smaller version, but not too small. Not 1/1000. We're talking about the same size this kit is, 22 inches long. They would have made their money back and more on this kit, to be perfectly honest, because I don't. A lot of people don't have a lot of room to have the 1/350 scale in their house. Me, for example, I don't have a lot of room in my display area for a 1/350 scale ship. As much as I would love to buy one, I probably will, and I will probably build it, and I will probably find a way to make space for it. But not everyone has that luxury. So to find a model in this scale at 22 inches in length, but with the same detail, would be ideal. And they make money hand over fist, I guarantee it. I would buy 3 kits straight off bat if it was retooled to that detail. I'd buy 3 kits just to have them. Anyway, I'm going on a rant about this, and I apologize. This is not what the channel is about. I don't like bashing, model kits. Well, bashing, not kit bashing. I don't like downing model kits or companies that do models. I really wish they would have taken the time to do this. It would have been profitable. It would have been great, and I would have absolutely loved it. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. It is plastic. Can I make this thing look good? Yes. Will I make it look good? You're damn straight I will. I will make every effort to make this thing as nice as possible, because that's what I want to do. It will not be easy. It has not been easy, but I think I'm off to a good start. The Arboretum came out, in my opinion, excellent. I hope you guys like it. Tell me what you think about that. And I think the rest of it is going to come together really well. So, I've probably gone on long enough, and I apologize again for that little rant about the kit. I just had to get that off my chest. I just had to do that. It's not completely a bad kit. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, could it be worse? Yes. Could it be better? Yes. But at the end of the day, if you're a good enough modeler and you've done this long enough, and you do a lot of research, you can make it work. You can make it a display-worthy kit. It just takes a little bit of TLC. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm pretty much done with the video now. When we come back, I will have more progress on this kit. I will actually probably have the primer on, paint on, and maybe start getting some sub-assembly going on here, so we get this thing put together and get it up on the on display. Now, I will not be building. Well, my plan is not to build a specialized base for this kit. To be honest, I was going to use the Round 2 kit, but that may change. I don't know. I may build a customized kit or a base for it. I don't know. That's still up in the air. But as soon as I know, you'll know. So anyway, that's that. If you guys have any questions on this build or anything I've done on this build with the Arboretum or any techniques, feel free to drop me a question in the comment section below, and I'll try to answer it to the best of my abilities. Or you can email me. My email address is, if it's not in the description, it is williamcass333@yahoo.com. That's, again, williamcass333@yahoo.com, all one word, and there's 2 S's in Cass. So if you have any questions that are going to be longer than a comment, please email me, and I will respond back to you as soon as I can. I do work full time, so I may not respond right away, but I will get back to you, I promise. So until next time, I want to thank everybody for watching. I want to thank all my subscribers. I want to thank all my viewers. I also would like to welcome any new subscribers I've gotten to the channel. Welcome, and I hope you enjoy the content. If you guys have any content that you would like to specifically see, such as using craft paints in airbrush, or uh, you know, wiring up LEDs, soldering and stuff like that, let me know. If you guys want a tutorial on that, I'll be more than happy to do it. I just don't want to do it because two reasons. First, there's a gazillion videos on all that stuff already on YouTube, and I don't want to bore you with boring content. But if you would like to see it from me and you want me to do it, let me know, and I'll be more than happy to do it. Or maybe I'll do a tutorial on how to make trees. Never know. But let me know what you guys want me to do. And I don't know if you have noticed the sound quality of this video, but I am actually changed up to using a headset now. So I'm using the new camera, which the video was pretty good, and I'm using a headset. So tell me if you guys like the audio, or if you like the audio with just using the webcam and not the headset. Let me know either way. Your feedback helps me a lot. So, yeah, I think that's it. I'm done talking. I'm talking your guys' ear off. You guys have a great night. Have a good rest of your week, and I'll see you next time. So take care. Bye-bye.